Hey guys, this is Sorta Blazing, and this is Can You Beat Serious Sam's second encounter with a chainsaw. First off, we gotta choose Tourist just because I don't think it's doable on any other difficulty. It is just way too difficult with the wearables and the beheaded bomb guys. So first off, just trying to show you off a little bit of what we're dealing with. So it is pretty good damage output, but we do run into our first struggle pretty early on. In the lower right corner, you can tell if we're doing it perfectly. If we kill the wearable, we get the sniper, but we can't use the sniper, and we actually have to use the sniper. So instead of that, we use the wearable to actually get over the fence so we don't have to get into that barrier. And then we get inside the castle, or whatever it is, the temple, and then we start chainsawing things up, you know? And then we get inside. You can tell it's really good damage output. So I'm not too worried about the first level. I mean, I don't think anybody goes like, wow, the first level's the hardest of the game, you know? As you can tell, it's pretty good. And then we finally get outside, and it's really just a run to the end, to be honest with you. It's just because I want to try to save as much armor as I can. I'm probably not, but there's no reason to waste time on these enemies when I can just get to the second level. Level 2. Okay, I will say the enemies that give us the hardest time throughout this whole run is probably the wearable, the major biomechanoid, and the beheaded bomb guy. Just because sometimes it's really hard to get to them, or maybe they're just hard to hit, or maybe they just give you damage when you hit them, like the beheaded bomb guy. And then we finally get out. There are 2 temples that we need to get onto the left and right, but we're gonna take care of some enemies first before we get to them, just to kind of show you like kind of what we're dealing with. It's actually a pretty interesting run if you want to try it yourself, but as you can see, they keep on spawning, and so I have to keep on taking them out. And then we finally get into the temples, and kind of to show you both at the same time, you just have to collect these little gold items to be able to actually put on that little pedestal right there, and then after that you're able to actually end the level. So you can tell the right temple is a little bit more difficult than the left temple. And then we go place them, take care of some enemies, and then we just go up. Alright, and then now we go up finally. They just keep on spawning and they just keep on blocking me. Level 3. Level 3 really just consists of getting mass just to go to the next area of the map. First off, we go get this one, guarded a little bit by some bomb-headed guys, and then I swear this mask looks like the scent mask from Majora's Mask, so that's why I put that. And then you just take care of some little mini-enemies, and you get blindsided, you ambush, you get back out, then you go grab the other mask. But to be honest, I can't tell you what these masks actually entail. I just know that we need to collect them. So I was I was elected the lead, not the read. And then we go place them both, and then we get to the next area, and then we actually get to a big coliseum, and then we are attacked by wearables, bomb beheaded guys. This is actually pretty difficult, so I'm actually just going to try to skip this as fast as I can, because if I try to just instead of just taking them on, I might actually die. So I'm just electing just to go to the next side of the map already, because you can tell my health was going down. And then we get into a little arena, and we face some skeletons. Not very much difficulty, because it's an arena, it's not too hard. And then we finally get down to lava. Just kind of running through, not really taking on enemies. Just want to kind of get to the next map already, just because you don't have to take them on, you know. And then we finally get to the end of the map, which is just this room, which it's kind of like a trampoline room, water trampoline room, and you just take care of these enemies, and then you be able to get to the next level. Easy as pie. Now we're up to level 4. Level 4 is a pretty cool map. I will say some things that we run into could probably mess up the run. I run a little bit too forward, spawn a little bit too enemies, so I do have to backtrack. I have to kill some of these in this little hole over here. I almost die right here, just because they're just ganging up on me, and you really can't do anything sometimes. And then I have to wayly backtrack, and then I get some of them, and then I'm like, I'll just go forward, just skip them. And then we finally get back to where we were, and then you do have to destroy these enemies, so I'm just killing them before we go to the next area of the map. And then we grab some more masks. Again, I have no clue what these masks do. I just know I put it in this place and make game let me through, you know. And then we do get to one side that we cannot complete, really. You actually have to shoot that little button over there for a door to open, and obviously we have a chainsaw, so we commit seppuku. But you actually can get over the door if you do this little jump right here, and you just jump. Okay, kill that enemy. Kill that enemy too. Okay, jump over there. Yeah. And then jump right on that side, and then you should be able to get over. And then, yeah, easy as pie. And then we start walking up this temple, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide on the side, and then press jump right on the stairs, and that it should give you momentum to be able to get into that little map. And then we take on a couple more enemies, and then it's the end of the level. Next is level 5. We start by falling into a pool of water, and then we're attacked by slaughterfish. I will say this level is more arena levels, or just full of arenas. As we're about to go down, we're going to go into an arena, but to speed it up, I'm going to kind of show you all of them at one time, just to make it a little bit easier. As you can tell, it's not too much spawning. It's like a moderate spawn rate, so it's never hard. You can always kill enemies pretty easily. It just takes up your time. That's the only thing that is the drawback with those arenas. You just kind of have to wait for the next one. And then we get passed by it finally. And I'm being super careful up here because the werewolf can knock you down, and you can be unalive. Okay, and then we jump up here, take care of some skeletons. It's actually pretty fun. If you ever want to try this one, you should. Now is a big arena. We just take on major biomechanoids and other biomechanoids. It's pretty easy because you can just get around cover if I want. I can go around and stay on the other side, wait for them to spawn, to drop down. So it's actually pretty easy. And then we finally get up there to face the other boss, or the first boss, and then boom, and then we immediately die. Okay, second try. Let's finally get there. And if you've never played this game, this is a pretty weird boss. I mean, it's just full of I don't even know what to call it, red air. And it is pretty easy because I'm just holding up my chainsaw. I don't even know if I'm hitting it. I'm just hitting it somehow, you know. For some reason I'm hitting it, and then I kind of get ganged up a little bit, and then I finally kill it. Level 6. Level 6 consists of me dying to stupid stuff. Okay. Really, level 6 consists of basically getting these wings and then putting them in certain places, and then also touching certain stones. And it actually opens up to kind of to show you a little bit both at the same time. The right one is grabbing the right wing, left one is grabbing the left wing. Pretty easy. And then we kind of just go on to the next area of the map where we turn on some switches. Obviously we hit these guys up before we go, or even start it, because obviously they're going to hit us before we place it. And then some guy, where did this chainsaw guy go, man? Like, I hit him, I guess I hit him while I was pressing the button, and it must have killed him. And then we finally get outside. We're actually going to go place the wings. There's a tipple on the left and a tipple on the right, so we just have to go place them. Not too much enemies here, like not too many worrisome. Then we finally get on side, and then we actually have to go left and right again to touch these stones. We got to get sacred stones. And so this is actually pretty decent. I try to make my way through it and to it. I'm not trying to focus way too much on the enemies, because if I do, I'm just going to keep on getting hit by the green projectiles. I'm just trying to focus on trying to live, get some of the armor, touch it, and then just go. But as you can tell, like, it's producing quite a bit of enemies. That's why I really don't want to stay here. And then we get to another arena to where this one's not too difficult because it spawns these guys, spawns some of the Gnars and some of the skeletons. So it's not too hard. And some of the chainsaw guys too. And then we get to the next level. Level 7. Level 7 is a pretty easy level actually, because what we first have to do, we have to go wash ourselves off so we can actually get inside the next area of the map. It's actually pretty easy because you can just run by all the enemies, not too hard. Just jump in, cleanse yourself, and then boom, next area of the map is open, and we just have to get there. And then when we get to that next area, our objective is to get this gold elephant, but we just take on a couple of common enemies. It's not too hard. Pretty easy to. The chainsaw is actually pretty good damage, so it's actually pretty easy to get through them pretty easily. And then we finally get to the gold elephant. Instead of actually doing it right, we're just gonna jump off and die a few times, you know, just be hard-headed. And then we actually get it, so it actually pays off. When we get down into this trap, ambushed, but it's pretty easy. And now we just have to kind of get towards the end, and it doesn't really. It's not really too difficult. I mean, you're just hitting them with the chainsaw, just basically. And then now we get into this other part of the map where it's like an ambush where these skeletons try to come get you. But it's not too difficult. Just wait one area of the map and then boom, easy. See. Now level 8. Level 8 is actually difficult compared to all the previous levels, just because we'll get into something more deeply later. If you didn't see, we have to go collect that little gold item, but to get that gold item, we have to go put the switch so it raises a bridge so that we can go get it. It's not too difficult. What was difficult was more of traversing the water, because I could not figure out how to do that. We get the gold thing, we get inside, ambush big time. Like, if you saw me there, it was crazy. And then we go into this little arena stuff. It really consists of certain enemies on certain levels, and as you can kind of see by each level, some of them are a little bit more difficult than others, but you just really have to. It's not too much because they spawn a certain amount, and then we get onto an auto scroller, and then we kind of get to the difficult part. This is kind of the first difficult part because they do spawn in a bunch of enemies and a bunch of major biomechanoids. And with the damage output from everything else, it does kind of hurt. I'm trying to just kind of go around, trying to get a little bit of them all. I want to save that health if I can, and so I try to move around. The thing I don't want to happen is me get ganged up, because that's how I'll immediately lose my life. As you can tell, I'm getting pretty low, and then I'm gonna go grab this the invincibility, and then just take them on, just because at that point, you know, because I would have probably died without that. So I'm glad I saved that for myself. And then just easy money, just getting them and chainsawing them. And then we go to the next part. This part is the hardest part of this level. So what we do is we're gonna go to the certain level and then run back so it spawns a certain amount of enemies. And we're gonna wait for them to come, and then we're gonna stay in this little room. But if you can tell, I really want to stay on this left side of the room because there's an armor on the right side, so I really have a little bit less. And you can tell when I get ganged up, you get a lot of dead. And there, show my aftermath of all those people or all the skeletons that are dead. And werewolves can actually be horrible in here, because if they come, they can just hit you up, and then if they get two of them in there, it is horrible. So that's why I only let like one, maybe two, and then I finally go out after probably like 10 minutes of actually staying in that room and just letting little enemies come in, and then I take on the big crowd. So what I did was pretty dumb. I actually spawned 2 lines. I walked across 2 lines, and it spawned 2 waves of enemies, and so I am a little bit too much overwhelmed, really. I just want to get inside that door to the next level. I'm backing off. I spawned too many enemies, I think I'm trying to collect the health, and I'm just trying to escape any way I can because this is just horrible. And then I do a little wrap around, I grab some health, and then I want to try to see if I can get one of these demons and see if they would open up the door. They do not. What I figured out is it's one of those lava guys in the back that really does it. So I end up grabbing some armor and some health, and I'm just like, let's get it. Because at this point I just wanted to spawn, and then I finally get it, and then I get to the next level. Level 9. Level 9 is more of a tedious level more than anything. You have to do multiple things. It takes a long while to do it, but to get started into it, we just grab that, kill a couple things, and then we're going to try to jump up out here, and then obviously we're going to fail because it's me. And we're going to try again, and we're going to fail because it's me. And then we're going to try again. Oh, and we finally make it. And then what we do is we go through this door, but we have to wait like a few minutes to actually get through there. Then we get ambushed after that door by a few skeletons, and then we actually get put into sort of a dark room. And in this dark room you have to just fill out the enemies and just find them. Sometimes it's kind of easy to see with their lights, with their firing guns, and you can actually get them pretty easily. And then we finally get outside. This is the tedious part. We do have to grab an item kind of from each little section of the map. What we do is just kind of just skip ahead. We use the wearables just to get us over the little gate, and just to speed it up a little bit, this is what we collect. We collect these little books sort of things just so we can get to the final boss. Not the final boss, but the boss of this level. And as you can see, it's not too bad. You just kind of wait it out. Sometimes just kill all the enemies that are in that little area. Not too difficult unless it's the wearables. Wearables are only a little bit of trouble. And then we finally get up to the temple of the boss with the wearable coming in. And then we actually get to the boss. But what we do have to do first is actually destroy his little machines just so he doesn't get any health. So we're just doing that real quick, just even before the boss fight, so we don't have to do that. And then it's actually pretty easy. You just stand there and hit him. It's not too much to that. And then I realized, like an idiot, I actually didn't destroy the machines. I mean, I swear, like, if I put a little bit thing in my phone, it's all done. Like one little wire, but if you just hit this one time, apparently not. You know, come on now. I thought this was like my phone, and then so I go back. Now it's back to the easy part. You just stand there, and easy as money. And he dies. I don't think that's going to be monetizable. And then we get on to the next level. Now it's level 10. Level 10 is not that too much of a difficult map either. It really just consists of getting through everything. And it consists of me dying again, obviously, just because I'm too dumb to realize that. Then we go up this little ledge and just take care of some enemies. Not too difficult. Just taking them out one by one. Then we get inside, and we do actually have to collect a couple of things. I think it's just this cross to this other side, a gold cross obviously, and then we take on some wearables, and you can actually use those wearables to get to the other side of the map. I wasn't able to, and then I finally got inside, take care of some skeletons, and I was looking at that pinwheel for a minute because I was, or the gears, because I was afraid I was gonna die myself. I'm glad I took a little bit longer. Take care of that enemy. This is actually a super fun part right here. If you ever just want to try one level of the actual just chainsaw only, I would say do this. This arena is super fun. You get invulnerability. There's little things that just spawn. You're being hit by projectiles. It's so fun. It just makes this level really fun, even though other parts of it wasn't too much. And then we finally get to end, just take on a demon, and then we get inside, and then we're attacked on the cutscene. Now we're taking on a level 11. 11's pretty fun level. It's an icy stage, meant to be for like Christmas. I just take care of a couple enemies, and then actually after this we get into this more of like this arena, and this arena is difficult. I'm just taking care of some minis just so I can try to get some more armor or health and get invulnerability before I start this one. But this is the actually fun part. This is Probably the most difficult part of the level, I would say, because it just keeps on spawning enemies, and it spawns beheaded bomb guys, some skeletons, and the major biomechanoids. And I kind of have to hide behind this corner. I'm just trying to regain some of my health. I would just kind of go back and forth, and then I finally get the armor because I'm really low health, and I'm just trying to survive. It is actually really difficult if you try to stay. At some point, I'm just like, hey, at this point, I'm just going to run because there's only like a few left, and I just want to live. And then we get to the end of that, destroy a demon real quick, just so we can get to the next part. And then we get inside, it's a bunch full of caves, some lava, and just quick platforming. We just keep moving forward just because it's not really in our best option or best interest to really take on any of the enemies, just because they're just going to hold us up even more, and we're just trying to get through it. And if we get stuck on one, maybe it'll actually kill us, and we actually get knocked off, and I've got to walk through lava. It doesn't hurt too bad. And then we go through this little teleporter thing to actually be spawned to another place. Also, just to let you know, I'm not going to play any of the actual game audio just because the chainsaw is like, and I don't think you want to listen to it at any point of the video just because it just keeps on going. We get towards the end of the level, and we're actually being knocked in some werewolves, and then I just walk in a little bit just to get to the end of the level. Now, it's the final level. Probably the level you've been waiting for, to be honest, because it has the most enemies, the most action-packed. We just start off by killing some low-level enemies, and then we actually decide to run. I'm going to show this more than any kind of other level just because I want to show you like the enemy count. It's just crazy. I'm just running them, picking up armor, picking up health, just trying to get by because there's no point actually fighting them. Because if I did fight them, I'd probably lose and probably just keep on dying. So I'm just going to go run ahead. It's not too bad. The werewolves are just, as you can tell, like werewolves are just the worst thing about this because you might not be able to get them on the first try, and then they just hit you up, and then you just keep on getting hit by more and more, especially in this level, just because there's all these other things, projectiles hitting you, and then they're just coming around, and then we're finally getting towards the end. If you could tell, like, this is just crazy. Like, there's so many enemies spawning. I don't think there's any way you could take them on, like, naturally, so I just get on to the next little section. It's not too hard. It just spawns those frogs and little biomechanoids, and then I get on to the actual pretty decent big arena. A big boss is here. I mean, I don't know what else to call him, but besides the boss, he's just a big enemy. He just hit me back, and I'm like, whoa, screw that. And then I come back, actually be able to get in his groin area and chainsaw him up a little bit more. As you can tell, he just hit me, and it's just a nuisance. So I'm just like, okay, at this point, I'm just gonna hit this guy because he's just taking hell. And boom, easy money. Okay, and kind of show you like a little bit of all of it. Every little video of it is little sections of the level. I will say most of what I did was I grab the serious speed, and then I get the serious damage, and then I go out and just kill whatever, just because that's like the most effective way. It keeps on respawning, so it's not that bad. Then we get more towards the end, actually heading to the boss, and here it is, the actual boss. Can we do it? Is it ready? Let's see. Let's get it. Okay. First off, he spawns in. Kind of had to wait for him to spawn in, and then the way you take on this boss is basically you get the serious speed. He'll spawn somewhere, and then you just chase him down and hit him with the chainsaw. He does spawn in enemies with his little staff. He'll sometimes do like a little orb or something, and it'll just spawn an enemy. But you can tell I just sit there, just hitting him like it's nothing, and it just dwindles health little by little. You just I don't really take on the other enemies because there's no point. I'd just rather hit him because I'm more focused on, hey, I can't believe I actually did this, and I'm just trying to focus on trying to get him. I'm getting like the halfway health. It's pretty easy. Just keep on grabbing the serious speeds, and then just try and look for him. Just wait for him to spawn, and then just go and get him. As you can tell, it just takes a little bit of time. That's the only thing, because you just have to get up all up in his junk, you know. And then I finally get him to low health. I'm like, ooh, this is the one. And I'm just almost there. And then he goes away. And then I have to go hit him at another place. And then we finally get the 12th level done. It feels so good when I did this. I didn't know if it was going to actually be completable. I didn't know if bosses could actually be hit. And I'm so glad it's finally done. Wait. What? There's DLC? No! Okay, the first DLC level is actually not that hard, actually. Both the first two DLC levels are really not that hard. The only thing that's hard about them is that you do not have a chainsaw. So I basically have to go get these 2 switches and basically go to the end of the level without using any sort of chainsaw, and then I just get to the end of the level. Okay, DLC level 2. It's actually not that difficult either, like I said it was earlier. Basically, I do have to stray away from enemies at first, and then I do find the chainsaw. And then when I find the chainsaw, I give it to him, because I'm sick of these people just shooting at me, and I ain't gonna do nothing back, so I'm gonna give it right back to him. I will say with this level, it was a little bit confusing. I wasn't able to figure out where to go, kind of. DLCs kind of trip me up a little bit. It just feels like it's not Serious Sam. It just feels like it's more like the beginner levels rather than like the end levels, to be honest with you. It just doesn't feel like so many enemies are spawning. And this kind of shows you what we're doing. We're grabbing little items just so we can progress to the next level, and then we get attacked by a werewolf, and it's actually pretty easy, and then we just go ahead and get to the next level. Okay, now we're actually in the final level. What this level really consists of is getting a couple of these gold little statues just so we're able to go face Kanoom. It is pretty easy, so I kind of skip most of it. And then after we get into this little arena, face off against some skeletons and some lower level enemies just throwing projectiles at me. It's not really much of a worry. The biggest part of the DLC is Kanoom. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. And then we actually jump in there. Let's get into it. So hands down, this is the hardest boss of the whole game. And obviously he has stolen Saint Amon-Ra. I just had to make a joke because that little thing around his neck is called Amon-Ra. So I thought it'd be funny just to put Amon-Ra on there. And as you can tell, it is going to take a long while. Even though the chainsaw is a pretty good damage output, no matter what, he still has a really high health bar. And it just takes me kind of going in, chainsawing him a little bit, and then going a little bit out. I'm not trying to stay there just because there is like a death threshold or some sort of kill something. If you stay there or in a certain area, it will just immediately kill you. I don't know if it's him stepping on you. It is definitely something. So if you see me just kind of straying back and forth and left and right, it's because I'm trying to get out of that field, because for some reason, I don't know, I have no clue. If you try it yourself, you will tell, like, you'll die a bunch. I've died like 20 times or 30 times trying to get through this just because I don't know where this little plane is, and I'm just keep on going in and out. I take some breaks. What I do is I go around the walls and then I heal up since it's tourist, and then I just get him in the butt, and then I get him in the legs. More towards the end, I can tell where I'm actually hitting him while I'm here. It's kind of hard to actually see because you don't see the damage really. His health bar is just so high that you really can't tell. But this is pretty difficult. It's taking so much time. I think what it really takes me is like probably around like 30 or 40 minutes to actually get him down, even with trying to heal up. But you can tell I'm getting him down, and he's actually in the red. It felt so good when you saw that little red reticle over his health. It's probably the best feeling because I can actually tell I'm doing damage. And now going for the final blow. Obviously, since his health is so high, it's not really like a final blow. It's like a continuous blow. Okay, now he's probably on the lowest he can ever be, and I just want to get in there and get in that little boom. I wanted to say thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like, and if you dislike it, please leave a dislike. It helps me to know what I'm messing up on and what I'm getting good at, you know. And don't subscribe just yet. Let me put the pressure on me. I want to make some more videos than subscribe, you know.